You know, does what you consume on a day-to-day basis on social media really affect what you create? Does it influence what you create? So, y'all see the title. Let's talk. Being an artist on social media. So, there's a wide range of things that could be said about being an artist on social media, but let's just break it down. So, with being an artist on social media, there are definitely its challenges and there are also its benefits. Now, if y'all see me looking down, I'm kind of trying to remember topics because I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah. But basically, being an artist on social media, it's not bad. Honestly, I see being an artist on social media definitely something beneficial because social media is not necessarily old, but it's not necessarily new. We're in that stage of where it's like the in-between now. I would say it was new in like the early 2000s. You know, being an artist in this digital age, it is definitely different than how being an artist used to be. I would say I don't know anything about being an artist before social media, I'm gonna be honest. I can only tell you from things other artists have told me or art teachers or whatever. Most artists back in the day used to go through galleries, they used to go through literally just speaking to different people, you know. And in reality, it was just like, you know, it was a completely different experience from how it is today. But basically, being an artist on social media now, or being an artist now in this digital age, is very different. We're using social media to promote ourselves, as well as even doing a more traditional route too. But I would say, leading into the benefits, being an artist on social media is very beneficial in terms of you putting yourself out there, getting your art out there in general. Like, you're able to reach a wide range of people literally from the comfort of your home or wherever you want to be in the world. Honestly, you just need to pick up your phone or pick up a camera and just create whatever type of content. I don't want to use the word content, but that's kind of what it is. Create any type of content surrounding your art, basically, because let's be honest, you yourself as the artist and your art are what people really want to see. Yeah, the content is good, you know, you can make it look good, all fancy, or you can just keep it simple, however you want to do it, depending on you. But let's be honest, people really want to see you as the artist and also what you create, your art, you know. But of course, I feel like in my journey of social media, you know, like I've really been consistent on social media for a year, took a break for personal reasons, of course, which we all need to do. But basically, I've been consistent for a year, and with my journey, I see that definitely connecting with your audience and building up that community is definitely what really has people connect more with your art. If people connect with you, then they connect with your art, honestly. But definitely one of the benefits is being able to get your art out there to a wide range of people that you can never do, you know, by just, you know, speaking to a certain amount of people, or, you know, it's only so much you can really do without social media. But of course, I'm not saying that, you know, there weren't methods before, but definitely it was a lot harder. Let me just say that it was a lot harder back then versus now. So definitely one of the benefits. And also, you can definitely use social media to connect with different artists. Like, honestly, I've connected with several different artists. Like, as I've, you know, put his information out there before, my guy Zion, my friend, my homie, like, but yeah, we connect through social media, literally, like, and it's crazy. You know, I followed him for years, and then, you know, he did his segment, Art Talk Sunday. He invited me on, and we talked, we connected, stayed in contact, and, you know, now we're friends. Like, it's crazy how social media was able to bring two artists together and just build a whole friendship. and it's like I definitely have connected with other artists too, and definitely, we connect, support each other, and we have our own community. Literally, we just build our own community. That's really what it's about. Because I'll say this, like, when it comes to being an artist, it feels like it could be a lonely journey at times. You may feel like you're alone, depending on your environment, depending on whatever your situation is. You may feel like you're alone, and in some cases you might be, and in other cases, some people, they may feel like they are, but they really aren't. They just don't know that they aren't. So it's amazing that social media has been able to really connect different artists together, different people together, but specifically different artists together, and just you're able to actually build that community. Because as an artist, you definitely need a community of like-minded people that really understand you and understand your craft, understand what you're trying to do. At the end of the day, like, you may be on completely different journeys. Some people may be doing art as a hobby, some people may be doing art professionally, working towards doing it professionally, whatever. But at the end of the day, you all love to create art. We all love to create art, so it's just like we all understand each other in some way, shape, or form. But say social media has been like that connector between people and different artists. So if you're an artist that feels lonely, and you're in that journey and you feel like you're alone, try connecting with different artists. Like, literally, you have that tool in your hand. I'm not saying every artist gonna want to connect, every artist is gonna want to actually connect with you, be friends with you, or whatever, collab, whatever you're trying to do. It's like, not to say every artist is interested in that. That's fine. It's fine, honestly. But when you find those people who really want to vibe, really want to collab, really just want to build that community, it feels amazing. I'm telling you, it is just the best feeling ever. But definitely, social media has a good way of bringing people together. But kind of leaning into a few of the downsides, but doubling back to the benefits. Like anything that's good, there also is bad things. Now, social media can be a good place, but it also could be a bad place. Now, despite things, other people would be posting negativity and stuff or whatever, social media has its downsides. Basically, as an artist, you can get consumed in social media I'm not gonna say very easily, some very easily, some it can start to get to people. And what I mean by this is you start getting traction on social media, right? Like, you start seeing the numbers go up, you start reaching these monumental numbers, and it's just like, wow. And it's just like, it feels good. You get that dopamine starts really kicking in. But then if you reach a point, I would say maybe a plateau, where you see a decline in your numbers, and it really starts to discourage you. You see these like very low numbers consistently going, and it's like, it can become discouraging, because it's just like, you feel like, dang, nobody likes my art anymore, nobody's really connecting with my art anymore, and it's like, that can really discourage you and make you even want to quit. You never know. But in reality, it's like, that's not even the case. When it comes to social media, these algorithms, they change. Sometimes trending things go away, or you may have hopped on a trend and it was just hot for a minute, and then it starts to go pretty cold. That's the thing. It's like, it's all, when it comes to social media, you gotta adapt. You definitely gotta adapt to what's going on, how the app or whatever the application has changed. It's like, it takes a lot of work. I'll say that much. Social media does take a lot of work if you're trying to build a community or a platform, or even just put yourself out there and reach those monumental goals or numbers. It takes a lot of work. It's not easy. I can say for myself, with me taking that little short break from social media, and getting back onto it, like, I'm currently experiencing those low numbers. When before I was reaching those high numbers and stuff, and it felt good, but I never really 100% cared. Like, I was just like, it felt good, of course. I'm not gonna lie and say it didn't. But at the same time, it was just like, I knew in the back of my mind, like, these numbers could easily just go away like that. Like, easy. So, I never really got too consumed in it. But honestly, me seeing the numbers pretty low is just like, dang, when they gonna go back up? That's how I feel in that instance. But it's like, it's not really consuming me. I'm just constantly creating, trying to surround, like, basically use the content surrounded around my art in creative ways. Like, I'm trying to experiment now, get very much more creative when it comes to my content and all that stuff. But basically, it's like, I'm not consumed for, at least from my experience. But I know some people, it happens, which that's fine. And let's go to the flip side of things. You may be an artist that just not getting into social media, may have been on social media for a good little minute, and you start posting and stuff, and you don't see really nothing, like no consistent feed or anything, like no rising numbers. It's just consistent low numbers, and that can also discourage you too, which in a way that's okay. It's understandable. Like, you may feel like, dang, I'm trying to grow my page, I'm trying to grow my community, I'm trying to grow these numbers, but nothing's happening. And it's just like, all that really can be said is go back and analyze. That's all you can really do. Go back and analyze, switch up your style of content. Never stop creating unless you want to content, but definitely, like, switch it up a little bit, or even just take a little break, refresh yourself. It's never about, like, constantly going with the content. Of course, you should be consistent, so at least it's a higher chance of you getting to those numbers that you may want to get to. Basically, you should definitely stay consistent, because you never know, that one post you may post just may hit that number, those numbers you may want, those high numbers, and then you consistently start seeing it go, and it's like, you get to that point. Again, it's easier said than done. If you quit in the process of you doing something, you never know where you would have been. You never know if you would have reached those goals or not at the end of the day. Like, it's easy to say, oh, this ain't working out, this is not working, but at least you're still going. Basically, you just don't want to give up and quit right then and there just because you're not reaching those goals, those numbers, or whatever you're trying to achieve. Because at least if you keep going, you have a higher chance, you have a better chance, rather than if you quit, then you have no chance at all. And it's just like, it's over, and it's just like, yeah. And when it comes to those two perspectives, like, either or is very discouraging, or even like, it could be damaging. Even it could be damaging. It could really hurt you in several different ways, honestly. There's definitely an upside to it, honestly, but it's really all about the perspective and just how you handle those types of situations, basically. Doubling back to some of the challenges, now I mentioned one part about social media and being an artist. It could be a lot of work. Now, as an artist, we all know that when you're creating art, you're in a zone. You just care about creating, and that's all that matters to you at that moment. And mind you, when you factor in social media, that's a whole nother job in itself. And it's like, sometimes for some people, it can really feel good. It's just like, yo, I love doing this. Like, I love creating the content, because it's just like, it's another way for me to express myself, and really get to show people like who I am as an artist, and even outside of art. But at the same time, for others, it can be a pain, literally. Like, you could just be in the zone creating, and then all of a sudden you realize, dang, I wanted to record the process, but I low-key forgot. And it's like, which that's happened to me before, trust me. Plenty of times I just was in the zone and I'm like, dang, I wanted to record the process, but then I forgot. Which, again, that's okay, but it feels like sometimes it could be a chore, depending on you as an artist or you as a person. Like, it feel like it'd be like a whole nother chore, and it's like, dang, I just want to create. I don't really care about posting on social media or posting my process or whatever, which, again, you don't have to do that. But for people who want to do that, it's like you kind of gotta just be like, hey, I gotta do it. I gotta factor this in now, because this is what I'm trying to do. But again, it could be a lot of work. Again, it comes to the filming, the editing, shoot, just the angles of like you trying to make things look good and all that stuff. Or it's literally, it goes so deep that it's crazy. Like, you could literally just, all you want to do is just create, and you just zone out, just creating, painting, drawing, and then you just gotta stop and then get your camera, record this part, then go back to just creating. And it's like, dang, I gotta do this every time. Like, literally, it could be a whole, like, it could be a whole thing, a whole job. Like, you gotta set up, some good light, whether you use natural light or a ring light or different types of lights. Like, you literally gotta, it's a whole thing you gotta do, a whole extra thing that can, again, for some feel like a chore, but at the same time, it's like, it's really part of the process, depending on, again, what you're trying to do. But that's not a huge challenge, but it's definitely something to mention. Like, it's definitely something extra that you got to do. I think I can say is being an artist and navigating social media, you definitely have to take those breaks. And what I mean by that is, you may need those breaks from social media. Let's be honest, you may need those breaks. It's inevitable, because sometimes you may be in a dark place, or social media may be putting you in a dark place, depending on the things you consume on a day-to-day basis, or even just the pressure of constantly feeling like you gotta create content, when you really don't have to. It's like, it can really just mess up the whole process for you. It can just make it feel like, dang, I don't want to create content no more. I don't want to be on social media. I just want to cut that whole thing out, which, again, that is completely fine. You do not have to be on social media to be an artist, but it is definitely a good tool to use. You do not have to use it at all, but definitely, it's about having a balance. Because I feel like when you don't have balance in certain things, then it can just mess everything up overall. Like, you can constantly just be obsessed with creating content, but then you start to get that burnout. It will kick in, and you'll feel it. It'll hurt. Then you end up stopping for like a good few months to even a year maybe, and then you just come back and you gotta kind of start from scratch in a way, which, again, that's okay even too. But is that really what you want to do? That's the real thing. But I would say definitely taking those breaks are very necessary. Like, in the beginning of my journey on social media, I would say I would just batch up content, basically. Just batch it up. Probably take a day, 2 days, or however long, just to batch up a whole bunch of videos, and then just save it, right? And then when I'm ready to post it, I start posting, and it's like, I don't have to create every single day, create content every day, because there are some people who may be doing that every single day. They may be creating content, a video, 2 videos, 3 videos every single day, post it each day, and then they run out of videos, and they're like, dang, gotta create more. It's like, it becomes an everyday rat race, and it's like, it can really overwhelm you, and then eventually burn you out to the point where you don't want to even do it no more. So it's like, definitely that method is good, but again, once you do that method, I would say that's kind of like your break in a way. You got to kind of organize it to how things are best for you to operate, because again, everybody's different, everybody's, you know, schedule is different, everybody's methods are different. But definitely one thing to do is batch up content, so you don't gotta worry about like, oh, like I gotta create another video, dang, you know. And it's just like it gets annoying after a while, like, let's be honest. But besides that, you just want to take a step away from social media too, you know, because again, going back to it's like it could be negative. You know, you consume a lot of stuff on a daily basis, and that can influence your art also. Literally, like, you never know, like, the things you consume could just kind of block you from creating art, or even just add negative things in your art, or while you're creating, you may feel those negative things that just kind of make you want to stop or step away from a piece for a good little minute, and you may not even be able to finish that piece because it's hard for you to go back to it, you know. Now, you know, that's not always the case, but definitely it's something to think about. You know, does what you consume on a day-to-day basis on social media really affect what you create? Does it influence what you create? You know, like, literally, you consume, like, you may just be consuming different things, like, you know, seeing what other artists are doing, right? Like, for inspiration, which that's completely fine. Like, we all as artists, we study each other, we look at different things that we may like about each other's art, or, you know, in general what we do, and, you know, we implement it in our own pieces, you know, we implement it in our own styles. But sometimes it sometimes could feel like a lot, like you're just consuming so much, and it's like, it makes you feel like, dang, is this even me anymore? Like, is this even my style? Is this even my art? Is this even what I really wanted to create? Like, it really makes you want to think a little bit. Like, it really makes you think a little bit, like, is this even me anymore? So definitely it can be a lot, you know. That's part of the downside, I would say, you know, because you're consuming so much. And again, it can influence your art in a good way, but it really makes you stop and question some stuff. But to bring over the good side of it, as an artist, you get to see other people's styles that you may like. You know, basically, you get that inspiration that you may be looking for. Sometimes social media can help you find that inspiration that you was looking for when, you know, you may be in an art block right now, or, you know, you may not have the luxury of, say, getting up and going somewhere to get that inspiration. Sometimes you can probably just be a homebody. You can just be in the house all day, and, you know, you may need something to inspire you for whatever reason, you know. Like, again, whatever the situation is, social media could be that inspiration for you. You never know. So it's really all about, like, just finding that balance. Again, going back to balance. Balance is what's really important when it comes to a lot of stuff. Really everything. Like, because if you don't have balance, then things just start getting messed up, honestly. I think I've talked a lot on this topic. Like, I said a lot, honestly. And there was really a lot to be said, and there's a lot more to be said. Like, I can do a part 2 of this segment, this little you know, being an artist on social media talk, basically. Like, I could do another segment on it. I know I was kind of all over the place, but it's just like, I was thinking about what's coming to mind. But definitely when I do part 2, it'll be a little bit more heavily organized. But I feel like, you know, it came out good. But that's basically it. See you on the next one.